this is another one of those moments where it's like, where were you when NHL came to Utah?
You're listening to the UTalk Hockey Podcast with your hosts Champ and Denz. Welcome to a special Denver, Colorado episode of I know, we keep coming to Denver.
This is our second time in Denver.
It is the second time we've done an episode in Denver. We're here for work again, but this is the UTalk Hockey Podcast, and boy, do we got a good one for you today. On my right, we have Denz.
Let's go.
And on our left, we have Champ. There's a street in Denver we just passed called Champa. Had to take a photo.
Champa Bay.
No, just Champa.
Yeah, just Champa.
But we got so much to talk about because as we're recording this episode, both preseason games, the first one ever played by the Utah Hockey Club,
St. Louis Blues
against the St. Louis Blues in a neutral location in Iowa. And then the home preseason opener at the Delta Center. Those have both happened. Lots of chirps, lots of exciting stuff that we're going to talk about today. But we're first going to jump in and we're going to dive right in because we got a lot of that stuff. We're going to talk about the game that we went to on the 23rd.
Some of you saw us there.
Some of you saw us. We were on the Jumbotron. That was awesome. We saw some of our fellow podcasts, the podcasts that are out there that are also talking Utah hockey. That was cool to see. So anyway, the first and foremost segment that we always got to start with, we have one news item in off the post.
Well, alrighty. So off the post, there are other pieces of news, but we want to just cover this quickly, and then we want to dive into some other things. But Tej has been on injury. He's a small lower body. During the preseason is kind of his chance to be seen by all the new hockey fans, and he hasn't been able to play yet. But he is now in the clear, so we will see if we see him tomorrow night against the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, here's something interesting about that. I know it's just preseason, so a lot of things are in the mix. But we beat the LA Kings, when we'll get into that, on Monday night. And then the LA Kings, they lost to Vegas last night.
So you're saying that there's a chance to beat the Knights?
I'm just saying when we did the quick rapid-fire roundup, you said win, lose, lose.
That's true.
And so far, it's win-win, and maybe another win.
1 for 2. One of 2.
He's 50-50. So anyways,
better than 0.
He is cleared to play, Tej. So I think it'd be pretty fun to get a chance to see him play during the preseason because it's very unlikely during the regular season.
For those of you who don't remember, he was the first draft pick ever drafted to the Utah Hockey Club at number 6 in the 2024 NHL draft. So
people
GMBA
are eager to see him.
Team, they're high on him, and now that he's kind of through this injury, he's been cleared to play. Will he play? We don't know. By the time you're listening to this, maybe the game's already happened, and hopefully he's playing.
Yeah.
Okay,
but that's it.
That's the only off the post piece because we literally have we could spend hours talking about chirps. Am I right or am I right?
It is. We knew this would happen as
soon as the season started. Chirp, 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 chirp.
Final, anyways, we aren't going to spend the whole night on it.
No, we're not.
But
what we will jump into right now is we're going to highlight. The puck of the week.
It's time to announce the puck of the week.
Okay, so for puck of the week, we have selected to be entered to win the tickets towards the end of the season.
I should probably start just choosing what game that is so people can.
You should.
Yeah,
you should. They're his season tickets. So, the winner of Puck of the Week this week enters you to win is Ronnie Outpost. Ronnie Outpost, actually, the reason we chose Ronnie's comment is because it was so fun.
I want it to come to pass.
That's right. Right. So
That was a very Utah
I
thing to
want
say.
I want it to come to pass. Right. But I want to read what Ronnie Outpost said. So he was commenting specifically to the episode where we talked about how Chris Armstrong, president of hockey operations, stated that if we don't see snow by the 8th, maybe it'll snow in the Delta Center.
Yeah, I made that.
Right.
Yeah.
What could it be? What could that
Yep.
mean? And so Ronnie Outpost says, snow, you say, and then shares this. Close your eyes. Picture this.
Imagine.
You know, some of you who went to the game, this was kind of, I mean, not exactly, but it was kind of there. But
Just
this is a good one. Here we
Close your
go.
eyes and imagine this.
This is how opening night is going to play out. This is according to Ronnie's Outpost. The arena is already buzzing with fan energy. The lights dim and a spot. What?
It's cold in here. It's got the shivers.
Right on.
Start it over. You were
Okay,
in like
okay,
a
okay.
perfect voice. I'm sorry.
The arena's already buzzing with fan energy. The lights belting. Nope. The lights dim and a spotlight hits our Utah man, Post Malone, belting out the national anthem. He's on tour in the Carolinas, has a break on the 8th, and couldn't miss the opportunity to make his state proud. Continuing, crowd goes wild. Then the arena goes black. The music builds, and then bam! An amazing light show flash on, and it's snowing in the arena. Cat walks above the arena, pumping out the theatrical snow from the snow machines. Fans go crazy, but we're not done. Kick-ass protection on the ice kicks in with sick music building as the team skates onto the ice for player introductions amid smoke, fire, snow, lights, and music. Man, Ronnie,
My
love
comment,
the vision.
My comment back to you, Ronnie, on social was I think UHC should hire you to plan this
Right,
out.
dude. You
That would
could be the technician, or what do they call him?
The entertainment
light show
planner.
guy.
Like the whole package, like that would be quite the inaugural season official home opener.
Now we'll talk about what the sounds and the feel of the game were if you didn't get a chance to watch the preseason
game,
opener. It had elements of that, but nothing like that.
No.
So anyway,
preseason, they had to work out.
Right. They're preseason too, right? Everybody, including the officials, the team behind the scenes,
Fresh.
they're all preseason as well. So it'll get better over time, and hopefully by the 8th, they have at least something teed up to where it is awesome.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be sick if Post Malone also sang the national anthem?
That Utah's homeboy.
Dude, it is, man.
Love it.
But anyway, that concludes the Puck of the Week. Ronnie Outpost, you've been entered to win. Thanks for commenting. If you want to be entered to win or be entered to win the tickets, you can comment, subscribe, follow. The love is where we look for in the comments, though. So make sure you're leaving comments. Okay. We have several chirps, so we are going to jump right
Several
into
dozen chirps.
Right, but we
Just kidding.
we
We are
definitely have brought it down to some of our favorites. So here we go. Chirping with Champ and Denz, because we both have some.
We got some.
Chirping with Champ. Here we go.
Chirping with Champ.
All right. So in the last episode, someone on YouTube they chirped at me, and they even stated it was Sawyer Brecht 63 said, "Here's my chirp of the week, Champ. How's about you spelled chirping right in the segment opener?" So if you look back at the episode before this one, it was misspelled. Chirping was misspelled. It was chirripping. And then I commented back and I said, you know what? That's a valid chirp. I'll have our video editor, Denz, fix it.
I blew through it. Didn't do a great quality check.
And that's what happens when you don't do a quality
This
check.
is oxymoron
Quality,
considering our careers.
Right. Quality is important. But that's the first chirp. I thought it was funny.
It was funny.
But let's move on to probably one of the more salty chirps. And it happened. Like, it blew up on the internet.
It did.
So in game one, preseason opener
In Des Moines.
Iowa, right? The first ever goal, right, was on their own goal.
Was our own net.
Explain what happened, Den.
So, I've just lost who was at the blue line that missed it. Was it Gunther?
I can't remember. I try to forget.
I think it was Gunther. So they had a penalty, delayed penalty. And what happens typically, for those of you who aren't in the hockey world, you will pull your own goalie because as soon as the other team touches it, the puck's dead. So it's a strategic pull the goalie. You get six players against their 5.
Six skater. Yeah.
Makes sense. But if you miss a pass,
it makes sense unless.
And the pass just happens to fly on by you, clear down the other end of the ice.
In the vicinity of the goal.
And it went in our own net.
It went into our own net. And so there were several chirps. One was by the St. Louis Blues. They said,
the biggest one.
Congratulations to Utah on their first goal as a franchise. Hashtag St. Blues, man.
Oh, man.
So they were chirping. NHL Memes said, you can take the team out of Arizona, but you can't take Arizona out of the team.
Oh, man.
Dude, that's salty.
Salty. So unfortunate.
It really is. But I did love how Ryan Smith chirped back at the St. Louis Blues specifically when it happened. So again, St. Louis Blues said, congratulations to Utah on their first goal as a franchise. And Ryan Smith said, man, ... I love this league already. Did you happen to see that last goal?
Which was the winning goal against them.
Right. So that it was fun to see all the chirps flying. Yes, they got scored on in an unfortunate way in the first. Again, it touched our team and then it went in our own goal.
Yeah.
So then everyone was saying it was their first goal.
Sure, but statistically, it isn't.
Right.
Like it actually. So we had to look it up because it was like passed around all of Utah Hockey Club players, and we're like, so how does that stat get recorded? And it's the last St. Louis Blues player to have touched the puck. Technically, the goal is going to go for them.
That's right. That's right.
In case you were wondering.
Now, one of the stats, or one of the, if you're playing trivia in the future games of the Utah Hockey Club, probably the Yetis next year. There you go.
Yeah.
One of the questions might be, who was the first person to score a goal
in UHC
history? So it would have been the first goal, not counting the faux pas that we just explained. But who was it? Denz, you remember?
So we're talking about the preseason.
Yeah, the first preseason game.
Now that you put me on the spot.
I know. Carcone.
Carcone, yeah.
Yep. Carcone was the first goal for Utah Hockey Club. Logan Cooley scored.
Now, depends on how they are going to word that in the future, because it might be the fact that, hey, who was the first person to ever score for Utah Hockey Club? Does that include preseason? Or is it going to be the October 8th game?
I think that's where you have to be. It'll say who was the first person to score in the regular season of Utah hockey, which hasn't happened yet. But if they say the first ever goal, I bet they count preseason, right? Because it was Carcone, the first goal.
Yeah, then it would be him.
Carcone. Anyway, I thought those those chirps were pretty fun. All right, moving on. We have a Mr. SLC Lunk, and his name is Jordan. Has a weird looking picture. Anyway, apparently there was a survey that went out by Ryan Smith and company.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the questions gets to a point where it starts talking about the downtown Salt Lake project. Denz, you and I are in business, and we know that sometimes when you create a survey, there's survey bias.
Yeah.
Right? So you try to avoid putting bias in there, and you try to just give them the ability to choose for themselves without the bias.
Yep.
When I read you this question, I want you to tell me if you feel there's a little bias here.
Okay.
From Ryan Smith. Ready? So this is before the chirp. This is just what was in the survey that Jordan SLC Lunk was chirping about. If the project does not move forward, the Utah Jazz and Utah Hockey Club will relocate, causing a massive blow to the city's economy. Downtown Salt Lake could turn into Detroit, where companies stopped investing in the city. Businesses leave, jobs disappear, poverty and homelessness run rampant, and the city becomes an empty shell of itself. How important, if at all, is this consideration to you in your opinion about the project and the proposed sales tax increase? And the first option is extremely important.
Yeah.
Is that a little bias?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, and even if you are a season ticket holder, you were asked for feedback. I got a survey about the Delta Center renovations that was about pricing and what you would prefer. Like, now you got to remember, like, Ryan Smith's entire career really is all around like feedback and his passion for feedback. So, I mean, it's just the idea that how can I get the type of answers I'm looking for? Now, when you are the survey author, and it can come off a little like dramatic, but the reality is that if you pull a main entertainment traffic to somewhere else, do I think Salt Lake City is going to become downtown Detroit? No. But
Ryan Smith does.
But I doubt Ryan Smith even wrote the questions. Like, let's be honest, guys.
It's true.
I am like the smallest sliver possible in comparison to a CEO of Ryan Smith. I would not handle the development of something like this. Right?
You're right. You would have delegated it as CEO.
So
somebody else wrote it, and he didn't get eyes on it at all.
Don't make it about Ryan Smith. Yes, I get everything. The puck stops with the CEO, but guys,
the puck stops. Nice.
He didn't write this, and maybe it's some influence. But the reality is that will it affect the downtown city environment economy to not have entertainment and things to bring people to spend money? Yes. But is it going to destroy downtown? I don't know.
Make it a Detroit? I don't know. But I want to read what the chirps looked like from this person named Jordan, SLC Lunk. And to your point, it probably wasn't Ryan Smith that wrote the survey, but it definitely felt very biased. So this is how he chirped at that survey that he obviously received, because he took a screenshot and put that on his X. It says this: I legitimately hate Ryan Smith and his God complex. First off, anyway, but then he continues. He starts getting a bunch of comments, probably similar to what we're saying right now. And he says, Ryan Smith is just a sneakerhead tech bro doing dog whistles for polling to make sure he stays on the government dole. And then says, here's my opinion. Let them go to Draper. Let the rich fund all the resources that goes into every sporting event. In exchange, Salt Lake gets to keep downtown from being one giant outdoor mall.
Here's the thing. It wasn't Ryan that went to Salt Lake City being like, hey, give me all this money. It was them. I mean, sure, there might have been some aspects of that.
Sure.
But like the plan was from the initial ideas is, hey, we're going to go build up this team. The rich were going to pay for it. But like, we want you guys to stay in downtown Salt Lake City. Here's an incentive. It's important for nightlife. And if you do this, here's how we can come to an agreement. That's pretty much how it happened. So the Delta Center wasn't the first option. Like Ryan Smith came out and said that in the early on press conference of it all just came to where it is today. It seems like a win-win. Otherwise, city officials wouldn't have voted it. Now, is there bias there? Maybe.
Probably.
But at the end of the day, letting him go to Draper was their first desire.
Right. And then they said, wait. Why don't we do it in Salt Lake? So what do you all think? Was it bias of the Smith Entertainment Group to send that type of survey saying we might become a Detroit downtown?
A little dramatic, guys.
Right? Do you believe that Ryan Smith has a God complex? Is he a sneakerhead tech bro that's just following the government? Should they go to Draper? Let us know. It had a lot of juicy stuff in it, but ultimately, Jordan was the chirper, and we're tripping back at, boy, there's a lot there to unpack. So curious what all of our fans think. Okay. Mr. Cole Bagley from KSL Sports, when the season home opener, preseason home opener started to begin, he updated on X what the crowd was looking like, and he said, "There's a handful of open seats, but this place is nearly full and pretty loud for a preseason game. I'm impressed. This state is mostly unfamiliar to hockey, but they've shown up and love it."
Yep.
The key part to that, and you're going to get guys like Adam chirping right back at you, this state is mostly unfamiliar to hockey. He did say mostly. Okay, so there are some people that are familiar with hockey, obviously, in the state of Utah.
Quite a bit were there.
So then Cliff Safari, Kegs and Dags handle, says, "Handful? You're high on caffeine, since I know that's the strongest thing you can probably buy." Then our Jalius chirps back and says, "Clearly a Utah joke for a person who has never been in Utah."
Yep.
So I loved the banter there, but anyway,
You know what's interesting about this? So sometimes we'll chirp back on social, but we want to chirp back here. Here's the thing: is that I want to go to what the players said, hockey players, NHL players,
yes,
because that is in all of their experiences, not only with the Arizona Coyotes but playing elsewhere. What did they have to say about playing their preseason opener at home on the Delta Center on September 23rd? Here's some interesting things. Sean Dursey, which, again, I know most of the experiences in Utah hockey, or the Arizona Coyotes, but he said, "It was probably the most exciting preseason game I have ever had.
Preseason, y'all.
And without fail, every guy I've talked to about it on the team about Monday's game has had nothing but good things to say about the environment inside the Delta Center. The Utah fans, you brought the energy, and we noticed."
Yeah.
Come on. That's one. Here's the second one. Kerfoot, this is what he said. He said, "Great atmosphere. I think that's the biggest takeaway, is that the fans are excited, ready to go, and we had a lot of fun playing in front of them." And my thing was, hey, the Delta Center, though not perfect, is a huge upgrade from Mullet Arena and being there. Now, a lot of people were like, "Explain to me how Delta Center with unobstructed sight lines and all this." I'm not going to get into that garbage.
We wanted to chirp it, but then I was like, there's no point.
There's no point.
You knew going in that you were sitting in an obstructed view.
If
of
you
course
bought,
it's going to be there.
Literally, when you selected it said, "one goal view." Now,
Obstructed.
here's the thing, and this is what I have posted back. Here's the difference, guys. Get this through some of your thick brains.
Oh, look at this guy getting fiery.
Mullet Arena was not owned by Mr. Morello. That was the biggest problem. Arena issues. Is Delta Center perfect? Absolutely not. Are my season tickets perfect? Absolutely not. But it is owned by the owner of the arena. They have a place to play, and the unobstructed views are still over twice as many as what can fit in Mullet Arena that are just perfectly fine. And thirdly, renovations are already underway, and the research is there. That is more momentum than the Arizona Coyotes ever had. Day one.
Chirp, 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 chirp.
So, no need to keep throwing your panties in a wad, guys.
Nice.
Let's move on. It's going to
man.
change. Things are going to change. And most people are chirping are just uninformed. They see a comment online, they want to go on. So, there's the thing. I turn to the players. The players, this isn't the first time they've talked about how exciting it is. GMBA, a lot of them, if not all of them, are the ones that have said, "Wow, this is better."
Yeah. Yep.
So don't take our word for it. Go to our own players, our own staff that have said, "This is better." That's why Delta Center is an upgrade.
Dude, mic drop. Boom. Todd Holbrook in the Utah Hockey Club fan group. If you're not a fan of the group yet, go join. But he sums it up pretty good too. Kind of what you're feeling, Denz, and what I'm feeling. He says this: "Listen, kids, at this point, we have a home game on the books. Yes, we know the arena is a basketball arena, and sightlines are not good for hockey. We knew this years ago, and we have been given a plan of action to correct this. Yes, we know the team doesn't have a proper name yet. Yes, we have been told the name will come before next season. Yes, the Delta Center is new to the fan experience for hockey, and yes, they will get better. Yes, the games are free on the antenna and also available on various streaming platforms. Can we please start talking about hockey, the game, the players, and have everyone stop complaining about the sightlines and the team name? We have been waiting a lifetime for an NHL club, and every freaking day, someone is wanting to speak to the manager about some stupid thing that has been addressed a million times and just negative crap. The game last night was super fun, and from where I sat, the place was rocking. Even those in obstructed seats, besides the few that chirped about it, who bought those tickets or got them for free. Team was fun. Fights were fun. Game was good. Yes, we won. It will only get better from here. Come on.
And there's plenty of situations when teams have either relocated or started off somewhere that they weren't in their perfect arena yet.
That's right.
You know what? Guess who that happened to when they came from Winnipeg? Arizona Coyotes. Although the arena issues just stayed forever. They had some ups and downs. Anyways. Todd, we're with you, my man.
Nice job. The final chirp actually comes from a couple fans that were sitting behind us when we went to the preseason game. Just a couple clowns with the red noses and their face paint. They didn't have those things, but they sure sounded like it.
Sure sounded like it.
Here's what they said. From behind, the whole commentary that was coming behind our ears just was not educational at all.
Educational or a desire to be there. So I'm like, why come?
Why? Yeah, the whole time they were
like,
just,
you obviously are here to, you're just annoyed.
Yeah.
Like,
why? Anyway,
yeah.
Here's what I quoted. I wrote it down as soon as I heard it. The fan behind us said, "It's still the Arizona Coyotes. They'll be lucky if they win 15 games this season." And then they started asking, like, "Oh man, their record, they must have won like 10 games last year." Obviously, you weren't following them. And if you were, you weren't paying attention.
No.
Because there's way more wins
they
than that.
won over double than that.
And you got to think where they were and where they are now with the success that they had. Of course, they're not going to win only 15 games if they're lucky. Come on.
Guys, we aren't the Sharks, okay?
Yeah. We're definitely not.
Actually, they did better than that. So.
19 wins, I think, was the Sharks. Anyway, that concludes Chirping with Champ and Denz. Boy, it was a fun one, wasn't it? What are your thoughts?
But, Todd.
Oh, going back to Todd.
To your point.
Todd Holbrook.
We are also adding fuel to the fire by chirping. So let's get into Dishing with Denz, and let's start talking about freaking hockey.
Let's do it.
Dishing with Denz.
All right. Dishing with Denz. Here we go. Okay. The games have finally started.
Yes.
We have finally started seeing these guys play together.
We have arrived.
And I understand it's preseason. So take all of this with a grain of salt, truthfully, because you're testing things out. Bedoin? How do you say? Boudouin.
We're so sorry. We're still getting their names as well. We called them Bedoin. Then the announcer's like, Boudouin. And I was like, that sounds better than
that sounds
Bedoin.
way better. Here's the these are players that aren't going to be playing many, if at all, much during. Now, for Monday night, September 23rd, the first home game, we're going to dive into this one. Let's first talk about the preseason, the arrival at the Delta Center, what the feelings
pre-game
were.
Here's the first thing. So you and I parked at City Creek.
Yep.
We were walking. There were a lot of fans. But the first thing we noticed actually was there was no banners. You remember that?
Yeah, it was like even like the Welcome NHL in Utah, they put a lot more.
They did
out for that than they even did. Now we think it's just because you're trying to make that for the big welcoming of October 8th.
You're almost trying to do it a little underwhelming for
because
preseason,
it's just preseason
to make the game, the home opener on October 8th,
Yeah.
the next level. So I do believe that's it. But that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, oh,
I was like, where's
we
the,
even saw like
where's
the jazz
flags and
right?
where's the
Yeah, you saw the like some of the jazz branding still. I was like, oh, okay, well, I don't feel like I'm going to a Utah hockey game. But then I started walking, and then people were wearing Utah swag.
I was actually surprised how
many people had Utah Hockey Club shirts,
yeah.
jerseys. Like there were a ton with sweaters on.
Yeah.
And
which knows like they had to have those custom made.
Right.
They aren't available yet. So commitment.
Yeah. Yep. So there was that. What did you see as you walked into the arena or around the arena?
I think that was like a missing element. It was like new for a bunch of fans. Obviously people were getting food and snacks. I did all of their 10% off if you're going to use your Amex card, and 15% off food and concessions if you're a season ticket holder. And I was like, so I get 25% off?
And he didn't get any.
I got nothing.
And then he's like, oh, well, I'm pissed now. I was like, don't let that ruin it.
No. It's just like, anyway, so there's kinks that are trying to be worked out. I'm not going to throw my panties in a wad for those.
Dude, you've used that comment twice now.
It's such a great illustration of how some of the people online are just yeah. Anyways, but nonetheless, a ton of excitement and a bunch of kids, like first time experience. Like there were people that I spoke with, or they had like signs, and it was like first hockey game ever.
Yeah.
Like that is so cool, because I remember my first hockey game ever. It was a lot more cool than probably a preseason game.
Yeah.
Vegas knows how to put on a show.
Yeah.
But going in, expectations, didn't know really where to place them at, knowing it was a preseason game.
Mm-hmm.
And we noticed that throughout the night. I'd say as soon as, so we were getting food, and we saw on the screen they were warming up.
Yep.
We didn't watch necessarily that portion. But, we found our seats, and guys, was it a sold out arena? No, but it was pretty dang full.
And it's
Preseason. And it was pretty crazy loud when the crowd got into it. We got some things we'll talk about.
We'll talk about that soon. A couple more things before we move on to the actual warm up and some of the things that happened while we were sitting down before the game started. There were some Coyote sweaters. That was cool to see.
Yeah.
That I always think, so Utah Hockey Club will be like their retro jersey. Do you ever think they'll like buy the rights to the Arizona Coyotes and then make that like an alternative, like old school?
I mean,
maybe.
Did Arizona ever bring a jet back on their jerseys?
Okay. You made my point invalid. Thank you.
I don't know. Has it ever been done on any other team?
I feel like some teams do.
If you know, let us know. I'm curious.
There were some howlings going on. People were howling.
There was a couple.
Yeah.
I'd say it's okay to wear the jersey, but let's move on from the howling.
Yep. And then there were several Kings.
There was quite a bit. So you got to remember this game actually replaced the LA Kings and the Vegas Golden Knights Frozen Fury. So
naturally, those folks would be like, I'm a Kings fan.
That's how.
I don't know, dude.
What the King
That's
does?
not what they were doing. Yeah, but
doesn't sound very King-like.
All right, so warm-ups. We're sitting in our seats. Decent seats, really great seats. I loved the view. We were, what was it? Section
131, row 12, seats 3 and 4. Here's the interesting thing. So the Delta Center is quite the pitch, right? Which makes it an extremely loud arena.
It's loud.
But beyond that, here's what I noticed is if they can, and they will, as part of renovations and creating better box seats and creating a couple of those obstructed moments going away with better configuration, the pitch of the arena made us more close than the 3 or 4 other NHL arenas I've been in. We're midway up the top upper bowl.
You mean not sound pitch? You're talking.
Sorry. The the actual
The
angle
slant.
pitch of the arena.
Right.
And for being halfway up the upper bowl is where our season tickets are.
Felt close.
Like, I felt like I was on top of them.
Which
And
is
in
super
fact, comments by players even recognize on the LA Kings side the intimidation of how close even the upper fans felt.
cool.
So if they can handle the renovation while still maintaining that integrity and pitch in the Delta Center, and they will, because they aren't going to expand the building out that way, that'll be a very unique atmosphere, and it made a pretty awesome viewing experience to watch the game, even from high up for us.
Yeah.
Like, we felt like we could see things so well, and I have not had that in the 3 other arenas that I've sat in the top sections for.
Which,
Just saying.
What arenas? Knights, Hurricane.
Knights, Hurricanes, and Ducks.
There you go, folks. It's a good view. All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about when we walked in, the first thing that you said, like one of the first things you're like, dude, do you see the video board? On the video board was an LA Kings logo and a Utah Hockey Club logo.
Yeah.
But in the background, and a lot of people saw the same
It
thing.
came out online. People talk about it online.
What did you see? And you
It's the
leaned
first thing I
over.
noticed.
You did. You said,
I said, dude,
what is that in the background? And I
the
was like,
background is a Yeti's cave.
dude. And I was like, well, it's an ice cave. And he's like, well, where do Yetis live? And I was like, valid.
So we're just starting to get all these hints.
These little hints.
Chris Armstrong says the name is decided. They're just working through legal issues. I don't know what the heck happened with the final rounds of voting, Ryan Smith.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Give us a name.
Just give us a name and jerseys and a brand, and we'll be happy.
Boy, that's an easy list. But anyway, a blizzard or a mammoth is also in. Oh, mammoths aren't in caves, are they?
I mean,
Mammoths are in caves.
I
Not icy
don't
caves.
know.
Dude, they died in the Ice Age, so probably.
Were they in caves?
Dude, they were in Utah. There's
In
caves
caves?
in the mountains.
Okay.
All right. Now, let's talk about when they came on the ice, right? Obviously, they were warming up earlier, but they were
But the
kinda just-
official announcements
right.
coming out on the ice?
Here's your Utah Hockey Club, right?
Yeah.
That type of thing. They came out, and who was first? I always want to point this out. Several episodes ago, we had a
I know.
who is going to be the captain of this
Kraus,
team?
and he was the first one that came out.
He was the first one on the ice. Thank you, Kobe. Rest in peace.
Sure. And I don't not like Kraus.
Dude, yeah, no, don't
And
lie.
the more people that have commented and explained
Why?
in their interactions and what they've seen from Kraus, I haven't seen Keller doing that stuff.
I know, dude.
And so personally, from me, I am switching over to the Kraus team because
Sway his vote.
because I am seeing the leader step out and step up from Kraus more than the other players I'm seeing so far. But
right.
we're at the very beginning.
That's right.
So we'll see. Captain Kraus.
One other thing that I saw while I was sitting down, they came out in warm-ups. This is just a vision. Close your eyes. Picture this. If you didn't see it, Spicy Tuna comes out with no helmet on.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy's red locks are just flowing
Whoa.
as he grabs this puck and ding, you know, like,
I'm going to find a picture. I'm going to drop it.
dude.
Yeah.
Well, dude, find a video. He was like, whoa, you know. I actually might have taken a video, so we'll see if we found it.
Yeah.
But that was fun. Just seeing the players come out for the first time, them
Yeah.
looking up, and dude, literally, like, they're looking up.
Like, you could
to
see it.
space.
You could see it in these guys.
Dude,
they were like,
excited.
like the smiles on their faces. It was like the deep grin. You know, the deep grin of like,
Yeah.
this is sick.
This is
so
surreal.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about in game. So, first puck drop. The fans are going nuts. What did you feel about the energy when, like, the music, the feeling? That's what I want to talk about.
Here's one thing I need to point out. Guys, we've got to figure out how to be a better audience.
Yes. The only chant that we did in that game for the first 2 periods, I feel like, was, let's go Utah.
Here's the thing. And then when it wasn't happening, a lot of quietness.
So
So
too
silent.
quiet. You could hear
Now,
a pin drop.
In some moments, I was like, come on. Let's go.
Hey, let's go.
Hockey crowds are loud. Now, we had some great loud moments. The arena was erupting, scores, right, winning, all of those things. But here's the thing that I will point out. No MC. An MC's job is to keep the crowd going. They didn't have one for preseason.
Which is weird because they had one for the events that took place
I don't know, maybe
3-4 months before.
So that played a huge level into like crowd engagement. Also, like you got to get your songs in order and like your beats that help control. Because like if no one knows what the chant should be, usually the jumbotron is what, yeah, like hits the beats of like when you're supposed to hit it. So let's actually talk about the chants that it finally came in the third period. There was a couple clever new ones.
It was just fans starting because they're like, we can't just be quiet the whole game.
Well, I know, and so groups of fans like, let's start something new. We tried one.
It was Utah. Now, that was a good one.
Yeah, and the way it, anyways, it started like the intention wasn't to get faster.
It was Utah.
I think the crowd thought it
really
was
fast.
like supposed to get. And anyways, I don't know. Maybe it is supposed to get faster. But here's the thing: the fans can't control that. And even when it was like, "Let's go Utah," it was like upper bowl,
let's go,
half,
let's
and then,
go.
Yeah,
let's
just
go.
It wasn't coordinated, and it wasn't even the full arena.
Now, granted, in that arena, it's hard to have a one voice chant
Without an MC. Yes.
Yeah,
But like, again, that was a big element that I noticed missing in the game. Disconnected audience.
yes.
So
it did feel a little disconnected.
I really hope they have that dialed in for October 8th.
Dialed in because on October 8th, the fans need direction.
Yes.
The fans need help.
And Utah Hockey Club has to make the loudest statement
Yes.
to say, we are worthy of this team. Let's go.
Dude, but I will say this. When big plays happened or like there's a save by Connor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. The crowd went nuts.
Sure.
So when action was happening where it was not just, usual play.
And the players talked about like,
Yeah.
it was loud.
It
They
was
were
loud.
shocked, literally.
So loud. So there were moments, but we have to have that energy all the time. And in hockey, there is a certain type of genre that needs to be played. I felt like, and this is kind of a chirp from me to the event
Yeah.
and the DJ. The DJ played it like it was a jazz game.
Yeah.
It can't be a jazz game.
Guys,
Just
hockey
can't.
has a different identity. There's
Yes.
nothing wrong with the jazz, but like it's just different.
Yep.
And I don't know. It just I can't really explain it. It's different. There are certain types of songs that fit the hockey
Yeah.
vibe better.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just play those. Like Champ here was emceeing and DJing and announcing a whole shebang for Utah Valley University's.
That's right. Come check a game out on EAMC.
He's their voice. And he did a 10 times better job.
Just hire me.
Yeah.
I actually did see the job listing. I just couldn't apply because I don't think I could make every single Utah Hockey Club game. I wish. But
Anyways, but the point being is there's 1 point of feedback, UHC. You got to dial that in.
got to dial it in. One other thing, dude. 2 fights.
The fights were so good.
So epic, dude.
Just-
There's that one where it's like rapid fire punches.
That wasn't spicy tuna.
But Spicy
I
Tuna
just-
was in the fight as well.
Right. I just lost his name. Anyways, but the way, so he like, I think he's grabbing him. He's like grabbing the jersey right here. It's the back angle. You can watch it on like ESPN. I'm sure there's videos all over like, and I'll try and drop it here.
I have a video we can put on.
But like the way it's like, I thought of a head bobbing.
Yeah.
The way it was just like boom, 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 boom.
Sock 'em poppers, dude.
It was so good.
That was great.
And I'll share this about my father about this. He's seen fights in hockey where it's like, hey, people are kind of shoving each other around and it's like riled up. But he's never seen a hockey game and he hasn't watched a ton of them.
Gloves come off.
Like gloves thrown
Fist
off,
in
like
the air.
UFC just status of like, let's go. And the fact that happened twice, he was just like, that was new. And I was like, that is hockey.
I sent it to my family after it happened. They're like, that was so intense. I was like, and I was there.
And it was a preseason game.
I know the clowns behind us. They're like, it's a preseason game. Why are they fighting? I'll tell you why they're fighting. They wanted to give Utah a taste of what is to come.
Yep.
Especially from Spicy Tuna.
And I'm so glad they did.
Yeah. They knew what they had to do to get this crowd coming in hot come October 8th.
Yeah.
Which actually brings us to the final piece of this whole episode, which is once the game was over, right? What happened when, in game, who was the first person to score?
Logan Krause.
Lawson Krause.
Logan
Cooley. Lawson Krause.
Not Logan Cooley.
Lawson Krause.
Actually, we didn't see Logan play.
No.
This game. It was interesting.
It was great to see Sergachev.
Yeah, it was so fun to see.
Like all the guys that have been picked up, Cole, man. Just
so Logan,
or the starters,
Lawson Krause.
Yeah, stop.
So that'll be a trivia question.
That will be. Who was the first person to score on home ice
in UHC history?
In UHC history.
Captain Krause.
Lawson Krause. Again, if preseason's part of that statistic.
Yeah.
But if they say in a regular season game,
it'll be whoever does it.
Keep watch.
So
you should make a bet. Who's going to be the first one to score?
You
want to say Clayton, don't you? Dude, Clayton shot in the game.
So
clean.
Clayton won the game, right?
Yeah, dude. Overtime shot.
19 beautiful shot. Like, man, and that was a crowd eruption.
Oh, like that's because it was overtime.
Yeah. So much fun.
Yeah.
And then who's the third scorer?
Kerfoot.
Yeah. So here you have some taste of what's already been happening.
Tastes good.
So I'm curious. I like the question.
Okay.
Who's going to have the first ever regular season score?
We didn't even plan this, but this is a quick face-off frenzy.
Here we go.
Face-off frenzy.
All right. Look at us. We didn't even plan this. So the question is, who is going to be the first goal in Utah Hockey Club history for the first ever regular season game?
Let me think for just a second.
We're not even going to give you names. You just got to pick one. Fans, let us know. But we're thinking about this.
Fine.
This is on the fly.
Yeah. Who's it going to be? And that's a very quick face-off frenzy.
Yeah. No. I want to think right now.
Oh, like we're going to answer right now?
Answer right now.
Well, I want to look at stats and...
No, dude, no stats. Gut feeling.
All right. Gut feeling, I am going to say Keller. And the reason is because just the amount of shots he had on goal. He had quite a few great positioning lineups, even in the first game that he played on Tuesday, or on Monday, the 23rd. And I believe he's going to be part of the starting lineup. So just statistically, he has to score over one point per game if we believe he's going to hit 90 plus. So
that's true.
I'm going to go with Keller on hitting the first buzzer ever.
You know who I actually think it's going to be?
Iginla?
No, dude. The first name that came to my mind, I had to make sure I got his first name right. I only know his last name, but Barrett Hayton. Yeah. Yep. He's listed as a center. And he is a left-handed shooter like me.
Because that matters.
But I don't know why. His name just came to mind, so I think it's going to be Hayton.
All right.
So there it is. Hayton, Keller, who do you think it is? Comment, share, subscribe, so that you know when we talk about it. But coming October 8th is literally the puck drop, and we're just a couple weeks out.
So exciting.
So exciting.
But it's a great feeling to finally be here. Hockey's back. It's just a fun time of year. We're going to try and get better at creating shorter episodes. I know we keep saying that. We get into it.
Do we get into it?
We even cut our outlines, and somehow we're like how did that still end up being?
I'll tell you what. We love it. We love doing it, and we're going to keep doing it. There's going to be a break middle of and end of October due to some travel that both Denz and I are doing for work and personal.
Yeah.
So we won't be able to do full episodes. I might do a Cruising with Champ as I did in the summer.
In July.
So we at least have some information getting put out there.
Here's the thing. I'll be in Hawaii, so maybe I'll just record an episode on the beach and just be like, I'm kidding.
There you go. Hawaiian with Denz and Cruising with Champ.
Hawaiian
Yeah,
with
dude, it worked out.
Hawaiiing with Denz?
Not Hawaiiing. Are you American? Hawaiiing with Denz. Dude.
Rapid?
You're such a nerd. Well, that concludes our episode of the UTalk Hockey Podcast here in Denver, Colorado. Thanks for listening. We'll see you later.